Art. Okay, so here comes the recording. Here comes me. Here comes you. Hi, guys. Tonight we have a very interesting live stream, and I can see the icon moving, which means you can probably hear me. So that's good. If I'm too quiet, too loud, let me know. Remember the rules. If you want, you can raise your hand by clicking on something, and you can come on and talk to me, or you can ask me a bunch of questions in the chat. Pretty much anywhere in the chat I should be able to see. And wow, there are 93 messages that in the chat already. Well, from earlier today, that I did not answer. I am a bad channel manager. Anyways, I'll get to you guys tomorrow, I guess. But that's good news. You know, having too many messages is better than having zero. So anyways, our topic for today is a cool idea that came from you guys, and that was to ask Russians themselves about what their COVID experience was like in all of their different regions. If you remember, I sort of talked about how things were in Moscow, in the Moscow region, and I made a big post on VK, and the VK algorithm is weird, and whenever I put something that's like, you know, just say a picture of something, right, with text on it, always good results. Post a video, no one watches it. So we have a pretty decent amount of answers from people. In fact, how many do we have? Let me move myself out of the way here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's something like 8. Oh, wait. Oh, no. It says only interesting. No. Don't show only interesting. I thought there were more than that. Well, anyways, we have a few. And I don't want to let this sit here forever. And I think it might be blocking some of the more boring answers. Hold on. For starters, new? No. Okay. Well, anyways, we'll get to that then right now, guys. So first off, I'm going to use Yandex Translate for this because I think it would be boring. This is already kind of a weird stream that I'm just sort of going through comments from other people, and I think it would be even more weird if I had to live translate it. But anyways, here we have Igor Yazovtsev. He says, in Yekaterinburg, a mask mode was introduced, and last fall they began to restrict visitors in shopping centers. They were not allowed in without a QR code. Everything lasted until mid-December. That's interesting. Remember how I said right about the time that Biden and Washington completely rejected every point that the Russians wanted from some sort of peace deal. All the COVID restrictions disappeared from the whole country except St. Petersburg. Well, in Yekaterinburg, they disappeared 1 month before that, evenly apparently, according to Igor. So he continues. So it's nothing special. Cafes and restaurants were working to give takeaway. Takeout. They didn't stop on streets. They were allowed into the office without any difference. As in, I guess he means that people at his office were allowed to come in and out with nothing changing. There wasn't a code or anything. I have not given myself any vaccinations, but I have been ill twice, and I feel great. So yeah, in summary, Yekaterinburg, according to Igor, unless he's lying or something, it only affected restaurants, but they were still allowed to give takeout. That kind of happened in Moscow too, where they had like a takeout only, so that way people wouldn't gather and eat at restaurants. But again, what was the point of all this? Who knows? Okay, so that's Igor's opinion. And remember, guys, if you have anything to tell about your experience in your country, let me know, because right now, guys, I've heard many stories from English-speaking people, and it seems like the true nightmare zone of all this was and is Australia. So if you guys can beat Australia in terms of pointless repression, I'd love to hear it. So anyways, we have another opinion. We actually have a bunch of opinions, so we'll get through these. No, that wasn't the control key. No, I hate the Windows key. I thought I had the Windows key locked. Hold on. Function lock. Hope it's locked now. Anyways, Anton Gelia writes, personally, I was vaccinated in advance against many ailments, including the flu. So apparently he was someone who liked to get those flu shots, which I always thought were weird. Like, why bother with that? But anyways, a simple influenza vaccine significantly helps to prevent blood poisoning at home. At home? Even in Russian, it says it kind of that way. He must have misspelled something or autocorrected. When the vaccine appeared, I was vaccinated immediately, as I should be revaccinated. Everything is free. I didn't pay for it. When working remotely, my employer received payments from the state for the salaries of the team. All the staff was retained. Okay, so apparently his employer got special payments from the government to compensate for his staff. Interesting. And he did not lose his job, and in fact, no one did. Okay. Oh, that was cool. That was one thing where I do have to say I'm very thankful to my main gig, doing the travel videos for Russia Beyond, which is a part of RT, because it's nice and stable, and they paid us the whole time, even when we didn't work a whole heck of a lot. So I am super grateful, beyond grateful. Anyways, let's move on here. I'm seeing some motion in the ocean over here. Let's read one more opinion and get to it. But the problem is, this gentleman, like everyone, I knew it. He did not say where this occurred. But you know what, Anton? We can open your profile and find out where you live. Take that. So anyways, where is he? He's, it says native city. Wouldn't you like to know? Fantastic. Let's see. Where is he? School 96 doesn't say. It's not a publicist. Let's see what this university is. What is this university that this guy went to? Oh, for the love of all that's holy. I just want to find out what this is. Boy, that's frustrating. So maybe we can get a good judgment of where he is based on his unit. That's somewhere in Moscow. Okay. So that was his Moscow experience. That's probably why it kind of lined up with the experience that I had. Thank you, Anton. Stop being mysterious with where you live. Anyways, you'll have to forgive me. We have a short opinion here before I go to your comments. From somebody. Alexander Pegas, which means Pegasus, which is what's written in the translation, Mr. Pegasus. That is a real last name in Russian, Pegasus. There's some sort of singer woman, I believe, that has that last name. He says, I didn't prick anything. That's a fun translation. I think he means he didn't get a vaccination. I got sick 2 times with COVID. Post-COVID syndrome was so-so. Wait. Oh. So he said taxi bit would have was to. So I think he might mean he didn't have to work or something. It wasn't so bad, I guess. And of course, he didn't write where he was from, which is a classic. One thing, guys, about if you ever manage anything on VK and you have a Russian audience, no one will ever follow instructions, ever. He's in Troitsk, which is a sort of like the capital city of the new part of Moscow that sticks out there. So that's Moscow region. But I sort of told you about that. That was kind of a disappointing one. So let's actually go to a good comment. This is a beefy comment that we can read together from Tatiana Andreeva. Well, she says, at first we were locked up for 2 months. Then they began to come out with masks. Gradually, the people relaxed and began to stop wearing masks. Then, as soon as we started vaccinating, my son and I got vaccinated. When the codes began to be demanded, we had everything and we didn't bother to show it. A lot of people didn't want to get vaccinated. I believe she means that she didn't have to show it anywhere, as I think what she was referring to. But that's their problem. Codes were required only in shopping centers. Okay, that's definitely not Moscow. All sorts of Petersburg is like the most common grocery store in certain parts of Russia. Where I'm from in America, we have like, Giant Eagle or Walmart or something like that. But I would say more like Giant Eagle because they only have food there. But you see what I mean. So anyways, all sorts of Petersburg-like shops, pharmacies, etc., did not require this. 3 correspondence sessions at the university were passed online. So I guess rather than having to go to an exam, they did their exams online. Then the next one will be for sure. What do you mean? Okay. I guess she means the next exam. Everything seems to be fine. Saratov. Thank you. Saratov. Okay, so in Saratov, we have, in that region, we had sort of like a mask QR code thing, but only for specifically shopping centers. Interesting and insane. Anyways, let me take a look at our chat and see if anyone has anything to say. This someone says this is heavy. It might be. American Village updates, that'll be later. How can someone from the U.S. get into Russia now? We'll talk about that later. A shotgun would be better for bus security. Anyways, okay, we were getting way too far off topic, guys. Way too far off topic. I've only got a few more of these. Unfortunately, not that many people answered. I thought more did. But one thing that can happen is sometimes VK can be a little shady with the way it conceals bad answers. Irina Balina says, we, Saratov, so now I have a second opinion from Saratov, still have not officially canceled the mask regime. Oh. But everyone has been walking without masks for a long time. That's true. That is very Russia. In fact, one weird thing is, I guess, guys, some of you want to know where would be the worst place for COVID stuff. Definitely St. Petersburg. Because some of this stupidity is still going on there. Because I had to go to St. Petersburg to play American football. And that involved taking a train. And I noticed that like all the conductors and stuff had their masks on. And I overheard some people kind of talking to them about that. And apparently the mask thing for the conductors, the personnel of the train, is because the train goes to St. Petersburg. And St. Petersburg still has masks for like public employees. So I actually did go to I got there at like 6 a.m. And the kickoff for the game was like 2 p.m. So I thought, well, why don't I get a nice breakfast somewhere? And I found near the Moscow train station a 24-hour Italian restaurant. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. But to be honest, I actually really wanted Italian food, so maybe it was destiny. So I went in there, had a spaghetti carbonara and a salad and a coffee. It was kind of pricey, though. So you're talking spaghetti carbonara, a kind of basic like garden salad, and a drink for 900 rubles. A little pricey, but where else are you going to get an Italian dinner at 6 a.m.? So anyways, all the waiters there had masks on. And they also were like, still do the masks. None of the customers did, though. And there was no nothing stopping you from entering or exiting. So still these sort of last vestiges of all this silliness are in St. Petersburg. And I guess it affects all transport to and from St. Petersburg. Some of the other American football players took flights from Moscow. And they said that on those flights, they still had to wear a mask the whole time. Because St. Petersburg. So that's a big anti-advertisement for St. Petersburg there. Okay, so here we go. Oh, actually, this guy is a friend of mine, so I know he's a real human being. He is 100% real, and he is 100% human. Okay, so my buddy there, Innocenty Torokhov. If you've ever wondered, they're the Pope Innocent. In Russian, it's Innocenty. So he's like Innocent Torokhov. Remind me at the meeting, and I'll tell you how it was in Yakutia. That was his comment, and he did. So he did tell me about what things were like in Yakutia, and they were very sort of similar to Moscow, but there was never a QR code in Yakutia. So there was no QR code. There was like the whole mask thing. He didn't get vaccinated, and like none of his family had to. And the farther you are from the big cities, the easier things go. But mask stuff, from what I remember him telling me, and yeah, no QR codes, none of that at all. So, right, and here we go. We have another opinion from Yekaterina. Or no, it's Yelena, excuse me. Yelena's home staging. Interesting. So I guess she does home staging, which I didn't even know actually existed in Russia. That's interesting. So she said that she was sick once, but the tests did not confirm. She was sick for a week, she was weak, and then did not have a sense of smell for 6 months. Or she was feeling something wrong and was not vaccinated. In general, the whole family was ill, like the usual flu with the scent problems, and Yelena also didn't understand the assignment. Incredibly embarrassing and incredibly frustrating. But guys, this is the reality of Russia. This is the way that Russia works, and I wish that stupid VK wouldn't have hid some of those answers, because there were more. So frustrating. But anyways, so we're going to move on to the questions that you guys had. 870 people at least looked at it. So that's nice. We're going to move on to the questions that you guys have. Hopefully that was a little bit interesting for you. I kind of promised to gather data from across the country, but it seems like really so far, all we really have information about is we have Yakutia, and we have Moscow, and we have Saratov, 2 answers from Saratov, and we have St. Petersburg. And really by far the one that was like the closest to a Western country without really going too over the line would be St. Petersburg. So by far the worst is St. Petersburg. But remember, St. Petersburg, the city and the region around it are 2 different states. So the state region around it could have been very different. All right, let's go to your questions, my friends. So, greetings from Canada. Hello there, exiled Canadian patriot. I think you sent me a message, but I did not have time to answer. Please forgive me, my exiled friend. Well, actually, I should say, officially, since my one buddy got thrown in prison for 20 years for what he's done in Russia, and we've worked on projects together, I guess I'm exiled now, too. Forever. But anyways, okay. Lewis made a comment to something earlier, but he says, not everyone in the West believes the propaganda. One thing, Lewis, this goes to everyone, is this not all having to sit there and say, well, not everyone believes in this. Not all men act like, just you don't have to say that. Just don't. It's always a weak comment. It doesn't really change anything. Just let go. We're free. People are free to make generalizations, especially if they know their generalizations. Mo, I like this comment from Pete. He's looking at the picture of the guard on the bus with the Azov guys that have come out of Azov Stal. And he has actually what looks to be like an SVD rifle or something, like a marksman's rifle or a simpler, more basic sniper rifle. And he says a shotgun would be better for security duty. I agree, because if one guy got uppity, that bullet would go through him, the next guy, and the guy after him. So let's see. Jason King is asking, how can someone from the U.S. get into Russia now? That is very difficult. I would say pretty much besides the American Villages program, it's going to be really tough. I do know of people who, because they were through marriage, they were able to do during this time of extreme stress and all that, they were able to do a homestay visa here because it's a husband-wife thing. But I think tourist visas are pretty much dead right now, especially for Americans. So it's just not an option. If you want, go look at the Russian embassy website in America. Maybe something's changed, but I don't think so. So unless you're married to a Russian citizen, not right now, or you're participating in the American Villages Project. American Villages Project update. Nathaniel's asking, Nathaniel, if there was a major update, wouldn't you have already heard about it? There you go. So tomorrow I am going to be meeting with Timur, the immigration lawyer, who is the one who is more in contact with the people doing the paperwork. And so in theory, we'll see what Timur has to say. Because Timur is really the guy who has the fancy suit and the fancy office and no accent. And is really the one who's dealing with the more legalese side of this whole thing. So hopefully he'll be able to help us out tomorrow. So anyways, greetings from Canada. We talked about that. Mandates, restrictions in Russia. Yes, that's what we were talking about. Unfortunately, not many answers. Anyways, PR. Are you still dealing with COVID issues in Russia and mask-wearing vaccination restrictions? Like I said, Mr. PR, just recently, just a few minutes ago, I was stunned when going to St. Petersburg that there's still mask stuff. That is not happening anywhere else that I've seen. No mask stuff. That's all over everywhere except for the last vestiges on transportation employee staff and in restaurants. One thing that's also extremely stupid is in Moscow, they officially said the mask thing is over, yet I still see the police wearing masks, and I don't get that. So that applies only, I guess, to active police in certain parts of Moscow under certain circumstances. Jason King, we are all followers of Father Gleason. He's a great guy. You should be. He's awesome. And he's also exactly who he appears to be. He's a very honest person. That sounded conspiratorial. He's exactly what he's. No, I meant that in a good way. Like there's no falsehood. He portrays himself as he is. Sorry, that kind of came out weird. Anyways, Pete, my tourist visa request was sent to the consulate in Washington, D.C. just yesterday from the Visa Processing Center. So, does that mean that the visa is going to be approved? Pete, how about this? If you are able to get a tourist visa, let me know when it gets approved and sent back. Okay? That's the big issue. Because so far, all I've heard from people is that it's tough and unending and bothersome. Let's just try this Russian. Hold on. You know what? Let's see what the Russian embassy in Moscow has to say. Our Russian embassy. U.S. embassy consulate. No. U.S. embassy Moscow. No. Russian visa in Moscow. No. Oh, God. Oh, sorry. I wrote the wrong word. Russian embassy Washington. I'm the idiot. I'm so used to living in Moscow. Russian Embassy, Washington. Okay, here we go. Let's see. This would be the website for those that are interested. Let me copy and paste the website into the chat. Ooh, baby. Let's see. Here comes the website. Whee! So everyone can take a look. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. So anyways, Embassy of the Russian Federation. Let's see. Press office, consular services. Contacts, Russian consulates, attention to visitors. Visa to Russia. Okay. Let's see. On resuming visa issuance. On resuming visa issuance. So that's a weird one. The letter S is very S-y and then very Z-y later. According to the decree of the government of the Russian Federation of June 28, 2021, the consular division of the Embassy of the Russian Federation, as well as consul general in New York and Houston, resume the issuance of all categories of visas. Okay, then why are people having trouble in writing me about it? Please be advised that visas may be issued only for U.S. citizens, citizens of other countries, and stateless persons who possess U.S. residence permissions, green cards. U.S. citizens also may travel to Russia using valid multiple-entry Russian visas that were issued before the adoption of the decree of the government of the Russian Federation of March 16, 2020. There is no need in sending any special requests or asking permissions from the embassy to travel to Russia if a traveler has a valid visa and valid passport. Okay, well, citizens of countries which have visa-free agreements with the Russian Federation may travel to Russia from the territory of the U.S. without visas only if they have U.S. residence permissions, green cards, or other documents confirming the right to permanent residence in the USA or a U.S. passport if they have dual citizenship. Non-U.S. citizen, well, it doesn't matter. It should be reminded that each foreign traveler, non-Russian citizen, must show to airline personnel during boarding a flight to Russia medical document proving a negative PCR COVID test result taken not earlier than 3 calendar days before their arrival in Russia. Okay. Multiple entry visas private are valid for 3 years. Got it. Please have documents for your multiple. Okay, guys. So I don't know who these people are who are writing me who say they can't do it. It would seem that it's on. They're back on. So, Pete, looks like you're going to be visiting Russia here, pal. So, who's that? Who asked? Excuse me. Who asked that question? Someone. So, this is Jason King. Jason, I'm specifically going to send you, first off, the link to the site. And then, secondly, I'm going to send you a link to this information. So that way, excuse me. Again, Jason. So anyways, that's the link to the information that I just read, okay? Here, Pete is offering a link. It is ils-usa.com. That's what he's... yeah. I've seen this site before, yeah. See, one thing, guys, is when you already have citizenship, you don't worry about this. But, yeah, this site works a lot better than some of the stuff in the old site. So, yeah, go to this ils-usa.com. And try that. So that is very, very good news if it's true. But again, I keep hearing from people that they're having a devil of a time doing these tourist visas, or they're not able to do them. So again, just because the Russian embassy website says something, I don't think it necessarily means that it's true. All right. So here we go. Oh boy, there's a lot of comments. Here we go. Oh boy, where is it? I think the biggest falls been where the golden countries. Here, this is someone responding to my comment that about how the Australian situation for COVID has been a nightmare. Luke says, I think the biggest problem is how big the fall has been. We were the golden country for so long. The good life fucked us in the end. Had never considered moving to Russia before I came across your channel. I guess I'm doing something right here. I'm a very persuasive guy. Keep up the good work, my friend. And I will, Luke. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, compared to Australia and Austria, two countries that are often confused, the number 2 spot for worst COVID restrictions, I believe, was Austria. They force vaccinated their entire population pretty much. They are vaxxed into oblivion. So, yeah. Interesting there. But anyways, let's then move on to our sort of second piece of news for tonight while we're still here. Remember, you can comment basically anywhere on Tim Kirby Russia, and it'll appear in the chat. So if you have a question, it could be totally off topic. We talked about our topic already. We tried to get into the dynamic of the different regions of Russia here and their COVID restrictions. You can do that, or you can raise your hand and we can have a little chit-chat one-on-one about anything. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be human relationships, Putin's underwear choice. His watch choice is very stylish, by the way. Putin gets good watches. We don't know about his underwear, but we could speculate and so on and so forth. But right now, I do want to say one thing about the whole Azov Stal thing, that this is going to be big, guys. First off, I'm actually really surprised that they gave up. I also would like for you to note that in all the pictures, first of all, they gave up. Now, in the pictures of the guys who are on the buses who are coming out of there, they don't look emaciated. They don't look like they're on death's doorstep. In fact, some of them even have a little bit of chubbiness left on them. So that also makes it weird I really expected them to sort of fight this thing till really, or be stuck there till the bitter end, till like they're down to the last bit of like ration crackers, and yet they kind of gave up. So I think something's going on, or someone cracked, or something weird is going on with that. That's for sure. But anyways, we have a question coming in from Exiled Canadian Patriot. Commonwealth countries have been picked to go through the whole mess. Restrictions are brutal in all these countries to set an example for the rest of the world. I can't fly out of Canada or fly within Canada. Yeah, that's true. In terms of COVID restrictions, yeah. I know some people who definitely want to do the American Village thing. They want to come over here, and they are trapped in Canada unless they get vaxxed into oblivion. Yeah, that's a real rough COVID restriction. That never happened here. The whole weird stuff with this was the whole thing of like how I mentioned to you guys. Maybe I did mention, maybe I forgot. Who knows? I can't even remember what I'm saying anymore. But when I flew to two regions of Russia, that was the Nenetsky semi-autonomous region in the north and the Crimea in the south, they checked to see that I had the antibodies. So I didn't have to have a vaccine to go there, but I had to have the antibodies, which again, it's sort of a weird logic. But I guess it means that you're not spreading the disease because you're able to kill it. I don't know. But yeah, so that was not a Russia thing at all. That is a unique thing. Apparently, you see the Commonwealth countries. Yeah. I was told that, Pete says, I was told that flying through Istanbul is the best option to fly to Russia. Yes. I would wholeheartedly agree with that because if you're coming from America, you have sort of two choices. You could come backdoor, as in like trying to fly through China, for example. I don't think North Korea has connecting flights, but essentially China or like Iran, because you have to remember that the whole sort of Eurasian landmass, except for South Korea, which is one big U.S. Army base, and Japan, which is half a U.S. Army base. Besides them, pretty much the whole Eurasian landmass doesn't care about any of this stuff. So if you're talking like Qatar Airlines, they don't care. Turkey doesn't care. Iran, I'm saying it very Ohioan. Iran, them Iranians, they don't care. Indians don't care, nor do the Chinese. So there's a whole bunch of those countries. The problem is none of those are very convenient from America. And if I were you, Pete, if you were going to go to Turkey, you should maybe take a day or two to unless, I don't know, you look kind of young in your picture. I don't know if you're younger or older than me. Let's just say if you're under 30, just go straight to Moscow. If you're over 30 and those bones hurt, why not fly into Turkey, which is going to be like an 8 or 9 hour flight, I think. Take a day or two off and just hang out in Turkey. If you're as a U.S. citizen, you don't need a visa to be there, I think, for 90 days or a certain amount of days. You should probably check that, though, but I don't think you do. Let's see. Let's check that for you now. Why not? Where can Americans go visa-free? I'm pretty sure Turkey's one of them. Boom. Visa requirements. Visa requirements map. Visa-free access. Electronic authorization or online payment. Oh. So apparently for Turkey, you have to... Oh, what a bummer. So you do have to do something to go to Turkey. Let's see, Turkey. E-visa. So you have to file an e-visa. But to be honest, dude, that might be worth your while because I don't know if you've ever taken a lot of long flights there, Pete, like long-haul flights. Any flight that's over 4 hours, in my opinion, is really annoying. And when you're getting into like the 10 hours range, it's just like, oh, my God, I want to die. So it might be expensive and a pain in the butt to do this electronic visa. I don't think it is because Turkey likes their tourists. But if I were you, I'd do that. Get off the plane. And just kind of, chill out, like take a little break, relax, and then go back to the airport and then fly to Russia. Because if you're going to do a 10-hour and then Turkey, from there, you have to kind of fly then around the entire war zone in Ukraine. That's going to be like another 4-hour flight. So you're thinking 14 hours of flying with probably like a few hour layover. You're going to be real sad and real unhappy by the time you arrive in Russia. That is my advice to you. But then again, I have never filed for a Turkish e-visa. So, yeah, I don't know whether that's easy or hard. It's probably easy. So, yeah, that's my advice to you, Pete. So, Turkey visa is about 20 euros, says Jason King, our buddy Jason here. So, 20 euros. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not too bad. They just want their taxes and stuff. So, yeah. And wow, Americans pretty much cannot fly to Syria. That's surprising. They are probably very, very salty. Although it seems like there's some special list of restrictions here, but that's interesting. Where's another one? North Korea has very high restrictions, not surprising. Cuba, yeah, also kind of not surprising there. But Russia, not so much. not yet. So that's good, guys. And especially the one thing is about with these 3-year visas that Americans can get. Now, I believe for Europeans it's much shorter, but for Americans that is a really good gateway to being in Russia because it works like the American visas do for Russians, where they can just sort of come to America, leave for like a day and come back and keep coming back, which is crazy. So it does sort of allow you to sort of have a soft start to life in Russia. But if you're in England or Australia, I'm pretty sure that doesn't apply to you. Your standards are much different. So interesting. Yes. Someone is flipping out on VK. Who is this person? Stop. What do you want? Oh, okay. That's actually very nice of you. Whoever you are, keep writing. That was actually very useful. Surprisingly useful. Can I mark this as unread, or is it not going to let me? Of course it's not. It's going to want me to... There are certain things about the internet that are very frustrating, but at least the stupid thing isn't flashing anymore. So, guys, he is on Telegram. Who? Can you drop me a link for Father Gleason? Yeah, I think you just look for him on Telegram. If you can't find him later, hook me up, man. Now is not the time. Because, again, I just wanted to take a little swig of milk here. Ah, man, that's good. Although the sounds of someone drinking are always gross on a microphone, I hope that didn't pick that up because it's kind of a disgusting noise. But Yeah, so I also just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about the whole situation here with the Azov Stal, because that is really the big news of the day. But it's one of these kind of pieces of news, again, that's kind of frustrating because it's like I want to throw out a bunch of crazy speculation. I probably shouldn't because I might be wrong. And I maybe have already sort of overhyped the thing. If we watched the guys from the Duran who do fantastic work, Alex as opposed to Alexander, it's very unfortunate that they have the same first name. But Alex even mentioned in his sort of a daily news rundown that with Azov Stal, they sort of had a rough prediction that there were like 1,000 people still down there, and only 500 came up, which means there's probably still a lot of people down there, or their prediction was wrong. But the one thing is so far on of what we do know, because talking about what could be is not as good as what we do know. All those buses that were filled with the Azov guys so far kind of didn't really look like they were foreign mercenaries. Maybe there were with them, but we weren't really seeing people with any sort of different uniform. But there's also no guarantee that a foreign person would be wearing a foreign uniform. But it really looked just sort of like just the Azov guys based on the video we have. So who knows what secrets are still down there? Who knows who's being interrogated, so on and so forth. One question a couple people sent me that I haven't had the time to respond to, that I will right now because I'm right here and we're already talking, is people have asked me whether they're going to execute the foreign mercenaries. That's very interesting. First off, it sort of depends when they have the trial. Now, that sounds like a stupid answer, but hear me out. If, like, for example, I just posted a few days ago that South Ossetia is going to have their big referendum to join Russia coming up pretty soon. That could start something. That could start, who knows, like a second front in the war, possibly. Georgia may react to that very harshly, but then again, after their army was destroyed in 2008, I don't know, have they rebuilt? I'm not even really sure if they could really do anything about it. But that'll be spicy. There will be some reaction to it, I'll put it that way. But we talked about that. But the timing of it is, well, say someone committed a crime in South Ossetia, right? And they pass a referendum, and now they say, hey, we're part of Russia. Well, then all of a sudden, their jurisdiction would be Russia, wouldn't it? So as it stands now, both the Donetsk and Lugansk breakaway republics, or ethnic republics, or people's republics, whatever you want to call them, both have the death penalty. Okay? I don't know about the Kherson region. That I'm not too sure about. But so far, right now, they have the death penalty. But if tomorrow they become a part of Russia, where Russia doesn't do the death penalty anymore, then they're not going to kill anyone. You see what I mean? So a little bit, it's kind of a timing issue about this whole thing. So there's the timing issue. There's also the PR issue because remember, so far, Russia, I think, has come across to the best of their ability when they're trying to speak to the world through all the bans and cancelings and blockages of the information flow. Russia looks pretty good. And what if then the Donetsk and Lugansk republics, although rightfully and justfully, you know, if you're a mercenary and you go to other countries to essentially kill people for fun, you probably should have your head blown off. But if they, you know, just publicly mow these guys down with machine guns, that is a very spinnable thing. And a lot of people in the West, because they see Russians as subhuman animals, they really will not understand or be able to comprehend that, well, this person is from my country, and he may be British, but he goes around the world murdering Somalians and ethnic Russians and Syrians as some sort of masturbatory pleasure. So they're not going to be able to draw the line between that, and so it'll just sort of look like Russian barbarian, kill everyone. We don't like you. We shoot you in the head. So I think it could, if they do actually execute these guys, it'll become like an anti-PR kind of thing. It won't be very good PR at all. It'll be very spinnable. It'll be very manipulatable, and spinnable. So I don't even know if they'll really do that. Now, one thing that I kind of wanted to, I might actually try to find the historical evidence for this and do a post maybe tomorrow for you guys. But I can tell you one thing. There's a city in Russia called Cherepovets, which means skull of sheep. Okay? and not just because it's a pretty cool name. All right. And it's a place where they have a lot of, industrial stuff. And after World War II, the Germans, this is also shows the interesting, different Russian mentality, which is why you're in this channel probably, is to hear these differences. Is after World War II, a lot of the German prisoners, they sort of forced them, essentially. They used them like slaves to build the factories and build up Cherepavets, especially, and all their metal working and all this other stuff, all those factories, right? Now, well, what do you think? The Russians, the evil Russians, so they sort of use these guys for forced labor for about 5 years. And then what do they do after that? You might be thinking, Gulag, shoot them, perhaps send them back to Germany on a hell train or something. They let them go. Can you imagine that? So this is a very interesting philosophical point. Is you guys came and but these were normal soldiers. These weren't like the SS or guys who were like ideological. So it's also important to note that these were more just like the grunt guys. So this may not apply to the Azov battalion or Azov. Let's just say it the Ohio way. Azov. The Azov guys, because they're of a different nature. But these German sort of grunt soldiers got used for like slaves for 5 years. They just let them be. They just okay, slave today, you're a free man tomorrow. You can try to find a nice lady and work in the factory. Unbelievable. It's a very again, Russia is a very, very different place, and that's why I find it infinitely fascinating because of stuff like that. Because one of the things is there was a huge German immigration wave to Russia during Catherine the Great. So like when America was a baby country, or maybe even a little bit before America kind of became a country, there was a massive wave of German immigration to Russia. And that's why Germans are actually referred to as essentially mutes. They're not called like Germans. They're called Niemcy, which means like mutes. Because they don't speak Russian. So there was a big wave of that. But there was also essentially this sort of like slave immigration wave that happened because of World War II, which is very weird. Also, after the Napoleon's adventures in Russia, a lot of the French guys also who deserted just kind of stayed behind. No punishment. Unbelievable. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to them. So the French guys got off easy. They didn't even get to have to do slave labor. They just got let go. What about the Wagner Group? Jason, I have not had time to research that. I do not want to do a bad job on it. I want to really, because this COVID restriction thing, all I could really do is gather some like fan info about that. That's all I can really do. But about the Wagner Group, that's something I can research, and it's going to take time. It's going to take a little bit of time. So, Jason continues. Tim, I believe you mentioned that Russians despise mercs, as in mercenaries. I was in Africa, Kosovo, and Afghanistan in that capacity. That's real bad for if you want to live here. I'll put it this way. If you want to, are you already here? You said you want to make a visa. Jason, that's a real black mark. I'll tell you that much. Depending how much they actually know about a given person anymore. Yeah, that is not going to go over very favorably. I'll put it that way. So, especially at the immigration office, because the FSB reviews every immigrant who comes into Russia, and they do their own form of background information. And I can tell you that there are certain things in Russia that are frustrating, and certain things where I feel that Russia tends to be sort of inept or bafflingly annoying. And that, a lot of that has to do with, like, I think my experience in the media. But I'll tell you one thing they do have: really, really good intelligence. They know everything. So I don't know, but I guess you know what, Jason, if you want to try to immigrate here, you can put their intelligence talent to the test. Okay, so that'll be in a way. You'll be a little bit of a human guinea pig for their intelligence skills. So we'll see, man. But that's definitely a strike against you. Unless maybe you sign up for the Wagner Group. I don't know. I also believe that being married to a Russian woman serves as a penance for my previous vocation. Well, what, again, everyone always gets this wrong. Being married to a Russian citizen, what does it actually do? It gives you and it includes you in the immigration quotas, which are very small. So it allows you to be inside this quota, and it allows you to then have the opportunity to apply for temporary residency, then permanent residency, then citizenship. So it doesn't really give you anything except you won't be rejected because there's too many immigrants. You're removed from the quota. But that's all it gives. It is no guarantee of anything. Okay? So, yeah. Armed conflicts. Have you ever been involved in armed conflicts, either as a member of the military service or a victim? Someone is putting there, is that, Pete, is that military service? No, on the visa application. Oh, yeah, that's, yeah. You know those weird questions on the visa applications? Well, unfortunately, they're Jason. If you tell the truth, I don't know. The question is, dude, if you tell the truth, there's a good chance they'll reject you. But if you lie, that's perjury. So, and you get caught. Remember, nothing is a crime till you get caught, baby. But yeah, you might be kind of in trouble. So, dude, you know what you're going to have to do? I have a solution. I actually have an amazing solution for you. Hold on. Oh, my God. Where is it? You are going to have a little chit-chat with Timur, the immigration lawyer. I'm going to try to right now, Jason, privately send you a message. Okay. And during office hours of the Russian Federation, please write over WhatsApp a message to this guy, Timur, the immigration lawyer, the top immigration lawyer in the country, who is kind of my buddy. Where I think we have a growing friendship. I even told him the other day that I feel that Timur and I are like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, because I, like Steve Jobs, I have the pizzazz, I have a million ideas, but I can't build a freaking computer. Timur, he can build the computer behind any, in a sense of any immigration-based project. He can do the nuts and bolts part of that way better. 1,000,000 times better than I ever could. Okay, so I tried to, we're like the two Steves, but then again, we're both named Tim in a way. Interesting. It's just that he's Islamic Tim. So there you go. Anyways, awesome. So how about you have a chat with him? Try to write him first. The guy's really busy, so don't call him. Write him. Tell him about the situation. Of course, tell him I sent you. That's also that helps with the price. If you want to pay less, but the consultation is usually free. I know, a little small legal consultation for free. That's called a good deal. Okay, so Jason, I meant my sufferings with her may be a credit to my character. What do you mean? I don't understand. Oh, you mean suffering of having a crazy Russian wife or something? Well, dude, all I can say is I don't want to immediately alienate the female audience, but this whole mythos of the Russian woman. It's a lie. It's all a lie. It doesn't exist. Or maybe it did in 1990, and the people who got married to that mythical Russian woman would then be, if you're 20-something in you might be, I don't know, in your 50s then now, 50s, 60s. So that probably doesn't really apply to my generation. But anyone my age or younger, mythical Russian woman, she ain't there. That's a lie. JMK, how long do you think the time window will be for immigrating to Russia in the future? I'm currently a university student who is looking to move in the future after graduation. Well, I can tell you one thing, JMK, that overall, the basic concept of what is immigration into Russia has not changed since the collapse of the Soviet Union. From that moment till the present, this overall concept of there's really no way to move here from the West unless you're married to a Russian citizen, and then that allows you the opportunity to apply to get a temporary residency, then a permanent residency, and now citizenship. That structure concept has not changed since that time. One thing that did change is they allow people from the West to now have dual citizenship, okay? So they allow that. But overall, that like basic structure is still there. Why do I bring that up? So throughout these different periods of Russia on its knees under Yeltsin, like the crazy crises of like the 2008 financial crisis, the 1998 financial crisis, Putin, early Putin, mid Putin, and the now ultra sexy, super sovereign late Putin period, things haven't changed much. So based on that logic, based on that precedent, I don't see any reason to believe that something crazy is going to happen tomorrow. The only thing I can tell you is there is a bit of a debate in the State Duma about what the strategies of immigration should be. So kind of half of them sort of think that it should be kind of the way it is now, where it's very hard to come here from the West. And the other half, which I'm on, says, no, let's brain drain the West. Let's get every good, hardworking, talented, intelligent person with decent morals to come here and make some freaking money. Just like what America did to Russia in the 90s. They stole all the talent, right? Because life here became terrible. It's time for revenge. So anyways, Christopher, yes, Christopher. Christopher is someone I'd like to apologize. Christopher sends me some really good messages, and I'm sorry. Of all the people that I've been really bad responding to, Chris, I'm really sorry that I'm very bad responding to you. You give some rockin' messages. But anyways, here's another message from Chris, so don't disappoint. As an American, I said yes to firearms training on my tourist visa app. They called me. I told them I was a competitive shooter, and I was first taught to shoot at age 5. That was good enough for them. Yeah. Well, one thing, Chris, is with both the U.S. and the Russian government, I would really recommend don't lie. Why? Because one lie that they catch you in, that's perjury. In America, perjury is 5 years in the slammer. I could be wrong. Americans, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure perjury, if you're convicted, is 5 years in jail. So again, it's best to just tell them the truth. Unless, I'll put it this way, unless it's something like you decide, like, let's just say in Canada, let's just say one day you decide, I'm done. I'm out. All my chips down on Russia, and you are going to burn the bridge to your life in Canada, then you didn't lie about whatever you need to do to get here. But if you're going to plan on living in any country and you start lying to its government and they catch you, oh boy, you're in deep doo-doo, even here. One thing also, too, is I'll tell you, even the IRS and like the Russian taxation services are pretty friendly about mistakes. You make a mistake, you can kind of work, especially the Russian system. They're very friendly about that. So any honest mistake, you'll be fine. If you try to specifically F over the tax administration here on some sort of major level, that's different. Pete says, super mega giga Chad Putin. Yes. Putin has, I was even talking to my one, sort of one of supporters, we'll call him today, good guy. And he was mentioning how he has become the true Putin. He has evolved. It's like Dragon Ball Z. He's reached like Super Saiyan Putin 4. Christopher Barrett continues. There is a difference in what Russia and the U.S. consider to be military training, I guess. Yeah. Well, the problem is when you call it firearms training, yeah, that could be anything. Military training is different. So, yeah, I think it's a choice of wording. It's kind of weird. So, yeah. Chris says, don't worry, you're really busy. Yeah, no. Putin's final form. Yes. Karen. Yeah, Karen. Karen, are you a... Yes, Karen is apparently a Dragon Ball Z fan. So, yes, it is his final form. He has truly evolved. He's ready to fight Frieza and Cell and all the other crazy characters from there. So, yeah, I've kind of lost my train of thought, guys. I want to get going here. I'm kind of burnt out a little bit mentally. I just wanted to do a live stream because I kind of promised yesterday and didn't deliver. I don't feel good about that. But anyways, here's the last thing. Here's the last thing we should talk about, except questions. You can bomb with questions. Chris says, being taught to shoot 22 at age 5, it counts as training. So they say, unless you've never touched a rifle. When Russians say that, probably not. What they would mean would be like, that course, like in Ohio, to carry a concealed weapon, you have to go through like some sort of 12-hour course. That would be what they're talking about. Training doesn't really mean what your dad tells you. Training comes from some sort of official source. Again, remember, in Russia, everything comes from government because we had communism. So I think they meant more from the government. But anyways, about this thing, apparently because now we're going to go into phase 2 of what is Tim Kirby Russia on Telegram. We've got volunteers needed. 26 comments under volunteers being needed. This is awesome, guys. I just looked at that. Tomorrow, I guess, I'm going to have to go through, and we are going to get some people doing some volunteer work so we can get more, better information to you faster. We can organize things better because I am but one man. In fact, I just went to that man Inokenti who told me about what the COVID situation was like in Yakutia. He is also a marketing expert, so he is an ethnic Yakut marketing expert, and he became very successful in Yakutia, so successfully he decided to come here because he can manage his marketing empire back home from here, but he can't expand his marketing empire to Moscow from there, if that makes any sense. So he's here, and he's making money. But anyways, he gave me some suggestions about what I should do, and I kind of had the feeling that we needed to organize some collective work here, and he really laid out the best way to do that, some best practices, as they say. So thanks to Inokenti for his wisdom, and we'll get going on that tomorrow. Okay, guys, last questions that I'm going to vanish into the darkness from whence I came. His final form. Sid, Sid, nice to see you. You comment intelligent things often. I like that. You make me happy. I'm moving to Russia. Oh, whoa, Sid. Whoa. Definitely comment of the day. Okay. Wow. Wow. Sid, I'm not going to put your name on this exactly, but you posted it. So we're going to actually put this as just a nice quote in the group. So we'll call it "Great news brings joy to my heart." And that is in the main group. Okay, so let's read this post here. I'm moving to Russia in a month. Just spent a few months there. I have a work-from-home gig. I'm an AI developer, and my wife is Russian. So I have a spouse visa. Yeah, you have that one. One thing, Sid, so again, if you're going to be building a life here and you're going to be spending, to live in Russia, you have to spend 6 months plus 1 day on the territory of the Russian Federation, and they do check. Especially because, in your passport, you have little stampies. So they first check your passport, then I think they check their systems to make sure. So 6 months plus 1 day. Immediately, right now, do not do the stereotypical Western person thing and fuck around with your immigration process. I've met so many people who just dick around and waste time, and they do not understand how brutal of a process this, immigration into Russia is. Start on your temporary residency tomorrow. I'm not kidding. Like I tell people, it's the fantasy scenarios. You're standing in front of the Grim Reaper. There's the American football there. The Grim Reaper tells you, if you want to live, grab that ball. And the weird thing is most people be like, well, I don't know. Why are you threatening me? Why should I have to grab the ball? And that's how everyone from the West acts about I'm telling you guys, pick it up. Start your immigration process, Sid. For the love of all that is holy, please do it for me. So anyways, I even know one guy, if he's listening, he's going to kill me. But at points I wanted to strangle him because he actually, through his employer, had sort of like a direct route to, first off, he was married to a Russian for a long time. And he was here, so he had a sort of like a direct route to citizenship through his employer. He was married to a Russian citizen for a long time. And he was here for like 8 years on those visas. It's like, holy moly, do you think about your future, man? He's a great guy, but like near the end of that, and I just wanted to slap him. Anyways, Karen says, that's good to know about the gun stuff. Lots of us Americans have at least gone out plinking. But no, you don't have to mention that. Plinking is not firearms training the way that they see things. That's not it. That would be, again, being trained by some sort of government forces or something like that, or joining Blackwater or whatever the hell it's called now. They changed the name. What is it, the Academy or something? I can't remember, but it's stupid. Dark Chicago says about moving to Russia. Do you speak Russian? Well, this is a question for Sid there. Sid, do you speak Russian? I'll tell you one thing. That's another thing. Westerners always don't take their immigration seriously. They also don't take the Russian language seriously. Because if I hear one more time from a Western person, well, I want to learn Russian, but I don't really want to work on the grammar. Like, I think I'll just learn some stuff and not do the grammar. That's like saying, well, I want to build a car, but the whole engine part's difficult. Okay? That's something where, guys, we must break stereotype of Western person. So anyways, Lel, is that Lay? I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Lel, probably Lel Cordell, which is, man, that's a macho name. Lel Cordell, pit fighter. Lel Cordell, warrior of the future. That's a macho name. I like that. I got my VNG, Vidna Жительство, green card, permanent residency last month. It's a tough process. You don't say. Thank you for supporting me here. It's a tough process, but it's worth it. Congrats. And congrats to you, man, on getting a permanent residency. Yeah, Lel Cordell. And also congrats on having a badass name. Awesome. And yeah, tough process. Sid, I speak a little, enough to get around, but it's so difficult. Well, Sid, to get to your citizenship, you do have to pass. Well, I think even now for the temporary residency, you have to take a test. But the test is, well, some of you may get angry at me for saying this, but thankfully the tests are really easy. It only requires a very basic level of the language, but you got to work on it, man, because I've never met anyone here who is extremely successful who did not speak Russian very well, as a foreigner, I mean. I've never met a Western foreigner here who achieved really great success without Russian that's at least like 6, 7 out of 10. It's just not happening. Anna Zimmerman, you are extremely fortunate. She's talking about Sid's move to Russia. I would move to Russia if I had the opportunity. Well, the question is, Anna, why don't you? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? Can't you find the love of your life? In fact, usually it's American man finds a Russian woman. But just the other day, I did some voiceover work with Canadian woman who fell in love and married Russian man. Anything's possible. So, but she was older than I am, so maybe the dynamic was a little bit different. So, older by, I think, I'd guess 10 years, 15. Christopher continues. Any training counts according to Russian immigration in Houston. Really? Okay. Well, I'll put it this way. Guess what? I guess if they ask, I don't know. That's weird. Very weird. Okay. Again, that seems very strange. Especially like the way the Russian language would interpret that question. I don't know, but if that's what they said, that's what they said. Get whatever they want, just put it down however they want, because all of those weird things. Because I've seen the American one, like the questionnaire for people coming to America. It's like, are you a demolition expert? Have you ever been a member of a terrorist organization? Like, no. So anyways, so Usman asks, can you take me along? I'd love to move to Russia. Unfortunately, Usman, we are not in the West. You cannot have a polyamorous 3-person marriage in Russia. I'm sorry, that's a no-go. Or at least not officially anyways. Karen continues, Ellie from Russia has a YouTube channel, and she has a Russian language club. They just made a program for people who are starting from scratch. My husband and I are thinking of doing that one before we try our venture over to visit. Yeah, Karen, it's kind of hard to learn the language over there because it's just hard. It's hard to remember all this stuff. It's kind of easier to pick it up. But I would definitely say if you've got the free